My name is Sophia. I'm 19 years old, and I am a change maker. But I never thought I could be when I was 13. This is because I used to walk with my head down. Straight line, straight face, not making a sound. Sophia, my dad would say, this is the way that you need to be. Never question authority. Now, my dad wasn't trying to hurt me when he said these words, but instead he was trying to protect me from the world's cruelties, and there were a few. Growing up, I always wanted to be someone important. I wanted to be a leader by kindness, but I was told it wasn't meant for people like me. Like many in this room, I was told I wasn't smart enough, I wasn't strong enough, I wasn't good enough to matter. Besides that, they said that I was too young, too inexperienced, and too uneducated to make any real change, so I hid my dreams away, silencing my voice like a candle snuffer to a flame. But everything changed when I was 13. I was the target of a hate crime. I was walking down the street when a man who was approaching me commanded me to stop and move to the other side of the road so that he would not have to pass scum like me. Being scared, I froze. And he took this as an opportunity to scream slurs and film me while I cried. The violence isn't what I remember from this event. Instead, what I remember is being down on the ground, looking side to side, and seeing a crowd form, but with no one stopping him from hurting me. I was just a child. And even though I wasn't alone, it felt like I was, because no one stood up for me. And I was mad. It made me wonder, what's wrong with me? Why did no one care? I carried these feelings of anger and unworthiness for a long time, until I heard something remarkable. You choose what shapes you. It was like a light bulb went off in my head. For so long, I was putting the weight of the universe into what other people thought of me, attaching their words of dumb, docile, small, and weak to my soul like they were absolute truths. Except they were only true if I made them true. That day, I realized that I choose what shapes me. I deserve to be happy, and I could stand up for others too. So, I took the first step towards building courage by asking myself, who am I, and who do I want to be? Pushing everyone else's opinions to the side, I realized that I wasn't dumb, but instead learning, and I wasn't small, but instead kind. Slowly, I peeled off the labels other people stuck onto me, and I changed them for my own. Instead of calling myself weak, I started calling myself capable. I believed I could reach my dreams. It took me almost a year to get enough courage to fight for a cause I cared about. I wanted to create more opportunities for youth. My reason why was simple. Growing up, my dad was temporarily paralyzed from the back down, and it was hard on my family. My mom couldn't drive me to school, and since I couldn't move around by myself, a lot of opportunities for me went to the wayside. I wasn't alone in this struggle. Newcomer children struggled to get around the community, and my friend could not participate in after-school activities without having to walk 40 minutes home in the cold. Transportation barriers robbed youth of friendships, opportunities, and dreams. Through the hardships I and others faced, it motivated me to become an agent of change. I knew that standing up for others was something I'd be willing to do every single day. Except, I didn't know how. Since I wasn't learning how to be a change maker in my classes, and since my parents didn't know how, it felt like there was this wall blocking me from figuring out what to do. But I couldn't let this hurdle stop me now. So, I found someone who did know how, and I asked him to teach me. Like how an athlete has a coach, I had my grade 9 Catholic Studies teacher to mentor me. That's my lovely teacher in the front, Mr. Campbell. He is someone I'm forever grateful for, because he took me by the hand, showed me grace, and showed me what it means to be a leader that treats others with kindness. He encouraged me to join my school's environmental club, where I found my peers. Instead of being all alone trying to realize my vision, I suddenly had my mentor, friends, and teammates to help. When I was 15, those very same people encouraged me to make a definitive change. With 3 other team members and my mentor, we prepared to ask Regina City Council for more funding for environmental protection and mental health resources. I was scared, but my team promised to cheer me on no matter how it went, and they even encouraged me to tell more people about what I was doing. So, I gathered up all my courage, and over the course of 2 days, I asked other classmates if they wanted me to represent them at City Council. 113 people agreed. Although it meant challenging my fears, family, and government, I recited a slam poem I wrote to Regina City Council. By the end of my speech, I had become a lion. My voice made a social change. Except it didn't, at least not at first. With Regina City Council moving forward with no amendments to the environmental protection section, I felt miserable. It felt like my voice was powerless in the sea of adult clamor, bringing me back to my silent ways. It eventually reached a point where an aunt asked me why I was moping about. When I told her what happened and how I felt, she laughed, and she gave me a dose of tough love. "Honey," she said, "what you try to do won't always work out. You need to learn to love the struggle." Love the struggle. For so long, I was so focused on trying to reach this massive goal that I forgot the reason that I started in the first place. I loved helping others. I loved my mentor, my team, and all the courage I was gathering along the way. My gratitude helped me realize I couldn't let one little misstep stop my passion and my fire. Instead of despairing, I soon realized I would make a significant change when I allowed a journalist to interview me about why I spoke at City Council. With my story making the news, I became a beacon of hope. People told me, "We need more strong daughters like you." And other youth came to me asking how they could do similar things. Finally, I understood the inspirational power I held. A month later, a city councilor and the city's head of sustainability realized it too. My story inspired them, and they asked me to represent my team and join the community advisory group, where it helped create public and active transportation initiatives that help the city reach their renewable and sustainable goals. Being seated next to representatives from Sask Power and the University of Regina, it finally felt like the world was listening to what I had to say. Not only did my initiative innovate government policy, but I learned to work with decision makers to uplift society. My voice mattered. Now, it's not all sunshine and rainbows, and be wrong if I portrayed it like it is. I failed more times than I succeeded. Between school, work, family, and friends, I was burning out, and it felt like I couldn't do anything right. Even the people I loved the most told me to quit on my dreams, and I questioned if I should. But I learned I had to be my own biggest supporter and ask myself, do I love where I'm at and who I'm setting myself up to be? When the answer to those two questions were yes, I could dig my heels into the sand with my head held high because I chose to be here. And when the answer was no, I could walk away, still with my head held high because I chose who I wanted to be. And either way, I was always able to ask myself, what do I need to last another day? Some days, it was someone to talk to. Other days, it was a break. And there is no shame in either. We need to love the struggle and take care of ourselves while we do it. That is how we create a spark and keep our fire alive. Even to this day, 6 years later, I've yet to reach my original goal, getting fare free transit or free bus passes for all youth under the age of 18 in Regina. I could call myself a failure, but I've learned to celebrate the wins along the way. Gaining courage helped me join a community advocacy group where I sought a leadership role. Finding my community helped me direct a 200-person lobbying campaign for fare-free transit for youth under the age of 13. Even though it was tough, being able to rely on my team and learning how to persevere allowed me to continue for 14 months. As a result, I am so proud to say that Regina City Council passed a motion making the bus free to ride for all youth under the age of 13. This gives 36,000 children access to equitable transportation. I, a girl who once felt like she had no power, made a change, which is significant in my books. Also, I learned other people try to box us in, but we choose who we are. For instance, a girl in one of my community groups said that we should paint a mural about the beauty of our home. Even though we had no money, experience, or even a wall to paint on, we made a mural about the beauty of our home, because when has not knowing how to do something ever stopped us? There are so many people out there who are willing to help. And here are just a few from my life. From friends, family, teachers, mentors, and even strangers who became friends along the way. These are the people who show us who we are and who and what we can do. All we have to do is ask them for help. Thus, there's so many more wins that aren't my own. I watched my friends and my peers grow from their shells. I watched a girl who told me that she could not make change, beam as her story made the news and had her efforts recognized with scholarships and awards. I heard little girls talk about how fare-free transit would make their and their families' lives easier, without ever knowing my team or my name. Best of all, I watched my friends in these groups I helped create take over and make these groups their own. For instance, the new leaders of the Permaculture Club at my old high school created a food orchard to help supply more food to families, the school cafeteria, and community fridges. That's the picture of them right there. This is the beauty when we build the knowledge in our head, the confidence in our hearts, and the skills in our hands. When we gain courage, we create communities and opportunities for others. That is the beauty of it all. I now walk with my head held high, straight line, straightforward, and standing for what I believe. Although it's hard to see now, I've struggled to find my courage, but overcoming my limiting beliefs, finding a goal I'm willing and dedicated towards, and a team to work on it with, has made me into the person I am today. I have learned to love the struggle. The best part is that the skill of courage is something anyone can have. Ask yourself those core questions of who you are and who you want to be, and help yourself set a goal to get you there. Find your team and empower yourself to reach your dreams, because skill, confidence, and supporters will come along the way. And if it helps, I believe in you. I believe you can make a positive change. Thank you.